I'm Billy B. I'm here with some of the pinnacles of Milwaukee, Wisconsin right here. You know what I'm saying? We have Scalez and RIZZY.
Yes, sir.
They both are in the building. I'm happy for these brothers to be in front of this camera. You know what I'm saying? So this show gonna be a little bit different. We're gonna talk about business. We're gonna talk about music. We're gonna talk about what they've been doing. I know y'all see them moving around in the city. They always, for a long time, I've been knowing these brothers for about 20 years. You know what I'm saying? We are in Dooch's studio right now. The illustrious studio.
Everyday media.
New and improved, baby.
Everyday media. So if you doing the podcast, holla at Dooch. We're gonna have all that information at the bottom. So how y'all brothers doing? How y'all kings doing?
Blessed by the best.
Blessed. Okay. So we've been in the music scene for a long time.
Whew.
Long time, man. So, what made you? I guess each of y'all. What made y'all get into music and been stick with it for this long? Like you been sticking for a long time. So y'all must mean y'all love it. So what keep y'all going right now? What's keeping y'all motivated right now? And what made y'all get into music?
With me, and I think it'd be the same for Scalez. Born into it, for one. You know what I mean? From your parents. My story a little different from Scalez. My parents, I got a father. My father he owned a novelty company. So he served all the bars with jukeboxes and all of that. So if it break down, we was the ones to come fix it and everything like that. So, and my mother, she always been into church. She sung and all of that. So that's what my introduction was. From the blues to the church, it was always music. And I know Scalez was born in it, but he got a different way. He was born in it too, so he finna tell y'all now. Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I got the name. My name is Harvey Scalez Jr. And my dad is Harvey Scalez. He wrote the first record to ever go platinum in music history, which was Disco Lady for Johnny Taylor. So out of 13 kids, I'm the only one in my family that was born in California because after my dad wrote that record, he signed a publishing contract with Casablanca Records and they built him a studio in a crib in Oakland. And they moved him to Oakland, you know what I'm saying, in the early 80s. So that's how I was born into it. Literally, like when you said we've been doing music for a whole time, you made me think back in my mental Rolodex. I've been in this shit my entire life. You get what I'm saying?
Never been never been a time where we wasn't doing music or one around it, for sure.
Yeah, it's like that energy brought us all together.
Facts.
Like, in different times, and just from Trio Records, you know, God rest the dead, Kool-Aid, you know what I'm saying? Like him showing me how to use the MPC, and Jacob Lattimore, one of their uncles was there too, you know what I'm saying, showing me what to do when I'm entering into the music scene and DJing at Parkside and other stuff and around. That's how me and all of us got connected. So you know, so we've been doing this a long time. So I hear y'all mention y'all both y'all dads were entrepreneurs in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And can you talk about like maybe some of the things that your parents downloaded into you, like as far as like entrepreneurship, longevity, leaving stuff for your children, you know what I'm saying, having generational wealth, that type of thing?
I think, like I said, me and Scalez got a lot of similarities when it comes to that. I'm the youngest. My pops he ain't had no business having no kids. You know what I'm saying? He was older. So when my pops passed, I think I was 14 going into the 7th grade, and he was 65, something like that. They thought my pops was my granddaddy, but he was still flying smooth. But what he instilled in me was, he old school Southern cat. You don't work, you don't eat. Family first. Work for your last name. Stability, setting up. Ever since I knew, he always let my mother know, like, if I don't be around, I'm gonna set up the family structure to keep going, and you know what I mean, if I'm not gonna be here. So life insurance is early, all of that. Before it was GoFundMe's, I'm gonna make sure we straight. All our plots is already laid out. You know what I mean? So all y'all gotta do is, when you become of age, up your policy and things like that. And music always been joyful or in the time of pain. Music was always the comfort. You know what I mean? So music always played a part from if it was love or happiness, you know what I mean, or pain and sadness. Music always was the bridge or the gap between all of that to get us back to salvation.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same for me. Pops put in me early work ethic. You know what I'm saying? He was at one point in time called like the hardest working man in show business, and I never really understood it when I was younger. But you know, when he passed last year, you know, you get to flashback on all the memories and pictures, and it took me back to moments because when I was little, I was a part of his show where he used to bring me out on stage. So like something I used to trip people out about a lot when they perform with me is I have no stage fright. You get what I'm saying? Like that's why I do a lot of public speaking and shit to this day, because I have zero stage fright, because as a child he threw me to the wolves. You get what I'm saying? The man used to bring me on stage dressed like him, and we would do it like a little dance routine during his sets and shit. I'm talking Summerfest, name it. Brewers Old County Stadium in the 80s. Pops performed everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So he put that in me, the stage fright thing. And then also on the business side of the music business, he had been jerked. You know what I'm saying? Bad record deals, bad contracts and shit. So when that started coming up for me, when I became an artist, he was like a consigliere, like how the mob have somebody, like, should I bust this move or not? So he was kind of like that person for me. And it's deals that I passed on and deals I probably should have signed, but he always was trying to make me miss those pitfalls where, like RIZZY said, you work for your name, where you own your name. Pops had to sell his name to make sure we could eat every day. So, you know what I'm saying? He wanted to make sure that if I ever got in that business, that I never sold my name. So I've always been independent. You know what I'm saying? Musically, like everything we did was in-house, and that was instilled from my dad. No bullshit.
Dope. So, moving forward in the future, what's some things that you want to see as far as like you want to build a business, or what do you guys have going on right now as far as business, and also I want us to touch on like what advice would you give people out there that's really thinking about getting into the music industry, or thinking about promoting, or getting just in the social aspect of Milwaukee, and things that you guys been doing for a long time and doing a very good job at doing a very good job at it. So what do you suggest to those out there that will be watching this, is going to be encouraged by what you guys say? What kind of advice would you give them?
From my experience personally, I think I was a part of growing up born in the 80s, growing up in the late 80s, 90s, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The motivation from the family, I ain't gonna say the motivation, but the thing is, I think they caught up in taking, it was so hard for them at that time. I think it was, as long as we made it home, because the gang banging was serious, the shooters were serious. Me and Scalez was from the same area. We all from the same area, the Franklin Heights, Garden Homes areas. Mm-hmm. So you know how hard it was. So you cannot make it home walking to the store or to school just because of the team of your jacket or things of this nature. So I think the focus became back then was just, let's just make sure our children make it home. So in the middle of that and them working, not trying to show us, because I thought we was rich. Like that's how the family value was back then. I thought we was rich. Like we was that family in the neighborhood, everybody come to, the cousins come to. But when it's time for you to go to your room, you never know what's going on upstairs in mom's and pop's room on bills and this and that. So I think we lost a lot of the teachings from that of real estate, credit. I'm 37. I'll be 37 in November. I'm just not getting my credit where it need to be. You know what I mean? It was just a still stay alive, get a bag.
Right.
You know what I mean? But no banking, no nothing. School, I ain't learned nothing in school. I don't know too many people who really learned too much after your ABCs, your 1, 2, 3s, your mathematics. After 5th grade, it was pretty much common sense after that, to me. Mm-hmm. History, everything we learned was damn near a lot from school. So I think it's a lot of teachings. Some people got it, some people didn't. Me being from the South, I knew about slavery, I knew about that from my parents migrating up here, but I know we missed. I missed a lot of stuff, and I think we was the era where we had to deprogram and relearn. You know what I mean? So with that being said, just knowledge. All the knowledge that I'm getting now, I mean, making sure I give it back, because we definitely signed some bad deals and put the city on our back to make it to certain places, and it's for the next person to pick up and take it farther. You know what I mean? So, and now the good thing about it, ain't no age limit. You know what I mean? Dreams don't have deadlines, so we can still get on it. So that's where I'm at with it.
So right there, well, I'm gonna stay right there.
Mm-hmm.
So briefly, can you briefly talk about like what happened with, you know, when you were signed, or you want to get into that?
It can go briefly.
Just briefly, like,
real brief. First thing first, I grinded my whole situation up. Mm-hmm. Tony Neal, my family member, the CEO of the Court DJs, and he used to see me shooting videos early, like before when my projects came out. It wasn't cool. Didn't nobody know about videos. Mm-hmm. We was already ahead, because I got bigger cousins in the game and everything, so I already know what to do. Mm-hmm. He got a hold to me. Worked with him for a couple months. Akon got a hold to me. I'm just shooting real fast. Akon got a hold to me. Messed with him. He thought I fit good with Jeezy and Kinky B, CTE. But at the same time, we was building a relationship with Rick Ross. He was building MMG at the time. So we could have went either way. It was a couple labels. Brick Squad, Miss Deb. It was like going on. I was one of the hottest artists at the time, me and Mick Mills at that time. So we chose to go with Jeezy, the CTE situation. And it just didn't pan out. They was going through some litigations between theyselves and the situation. So I just got caught up in limbo. My album was ready. Everything was ready when we submitted it to get everything played so we can get to a Def Jam or Interscope, whoever the parent company was going to be. Things just didn't work out. A lot of budgeting. And I was budgeted from the street. So when streets things go wrong, that mess up your budget. So now you got your window of opportunity. I'm full in now. I don't got one foot in and one foot out. I'm full in. But a lot of my budgeting is coming from a street aspect. So if that get taken away, I get caught in limbo. And us being from Milwaukee, we got to fly to everything. You know what I mean? You know how it is. You got the Atlanta this weekend. You got to fly. New York this weekend. You got to fly. So it costs. The money can run up. The money can run up very, 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 very fastly. And I don't think the city at that time, the city wasn't ready. They ain't know how to prepare and deal with an artist that was getting signed, just like it was at one point basketball players. They ain't know how to deal with. Milwaukee don't know how to deal with their own celebrity. You know what I mean? When cats, it's so rare that cats make it out a certain situation and come back. You know what I mean? You get a lot of hate. You get a lot of backlash. People just don't know how to understand it because they never dealt with it. Like in Atlanta, you might have a lawyer, a doctor, a football player, an NBA player, 2 rap stars all off one block. Right. Look how many superstars came from T.I. Hood and around the corner, and you know what I mean? We ain't dealing with that. We fighting for scraps right here. So when you see 2 artists from different sections and they working, that's a beautiful thing. I think that's where we at now. But like Scalez came out before me. He had to fight for that. So the work that he did before I had my debut, we watched that. We watched that. That was like the blueprint, how to move. So you move to get to where he at and hopefully watch his mistakes and learn from that, and then you boom. So I go as far as I can go. Then you got the next cat watching that. He take it, and if he gets stagnant, it keep on going until we get one. So now you getting artists who QC, you getting your business boys, you getting all of this who, you know what I mean, was right there in the beginning of the foundation, but it all started from right here. But I'm pretty sure business learned from what he seen me go through, what you go through, what he go through. So, you know what I mean? What Jay say? Overcharging for what you did to the Cold Crush. You know, Hov did that. So hopefully you ain't have to go through that. You know, that's 2 songs put together real fast. But that's how it was. We and the artists before us went through a lot. You know what I'm saying? Before we came. So that's basically where you at with it. But yeah, I was there. BET, MTV, did it all. Things just didn't work out. You know what I mean? While that window was open.
So for those who reach adversity, like what is something that helps you fight, like to build yourself back up? Because I know probably it was probably very devastating. When
It's very devastating because you felt,
and you might even feel like quitting. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, I ain't got here. I seen it a little bit. Now I gotta go back. Boom. I'm back at square one. So like even watching the Dolomite movie, like I've been watching that religiously because I'm getting after his mental that he was in. Rudy Raymore was in, bro. Like he wasn't giving up. You know what I'm saying? Even watch the Sneakerhead series. Like if you watch that series, I think his name Bobby. He did not stop until he got to his goal every single time. So what is some of the things that you do, both of you guys? Like what is some of the things that y'all do, like to persevere through adversity?
Well, for example, to even speak on what Rizzy was talking about, rest in peace, Pat. But that's what it was with us. I had both. Because I didn't use my dad's cosign at all. When I first started, I was JR the Superstar. What I was doing was a complete contrast from what my dad was doing. You know what I'm saying? I didn't ask for no help, nothing. Because shout out to homie Scott Knox too. We wanted to do this shit on our own. You know what I'm saying? Like we had came from that. So I had put out a solo album, Die Another Day, and like Rizzy said, we had the posters all over the city. I had billboards. We was doing radio. I was doing interviews. Like we was doing it the right way as an independent. What's funny about me and Rizzy's situation is his big homies that he's speaking of, shout out Shamrock, they had already had a label before me and Pat had a label. So we were kind of mirroring what they were doing. To piggyback on what Rizzy was saying is that you watch the person before you and try to do it better or do it the same way. So that's kind of where me and Pat had kind of tried to model what we was doing after what Shamrock was doing, because those were the closest people that we knew who was running an independent label at that time. And we met Poor G and Baby Drew and them, and as you get what I'm saying, as we started moving around, we started meeting more people who were like Shamrock that own their own companies. Even shout out B Justice, his dad Chuck, 414 Entertainment. They were an independent label that was doing shit at that time too. So Die Another Day ended up taking off. Big buzz around the city. I think we ordered 2,000 CDs. I sold like 1,500 out the trunk. We gave away the other 500. You know what I'm saying? But the 1,500 sold out ASAP. Next thing I knew, V100. Never played my music on the radio, but Bailey Coleman was in a meeting with Asylum Records, who at that time had Cameron, Webby. They had a whole bunch of people. You know what I'm saying? And they were kind of like a distributor. They weren't even like a real record company. You had to have like your own independent shit going, and then they would help distribute you all over the country. They were kind of like the model of what's going on right now.
Did Cam and them go to them?
Yeah, Cam was on Asylum. They had Webby. Yeah, they had a nice little lineup when I went to go meet with them. So I flew to New York. We met with them. That never panned out. So the thing with me is I'm still rapping till this day. Like, you get what I'm saying? I didn't let that deter me, because that's how the music business goes. I even had an opportunity on the table with Rico Love that didn't go the way that it should have went. I never let any of that shit deter me, because at the end of the day, it was about the music with me. Like I said, I was born in this shit. I do it for free or I do it for some money. Get what I'm saying? When you got a passion and it's something that you believe in, no pitfalls can deter you from that, because that's shit that comes with the game. You get what I'm saying? And like even for me right now, I done ventured. What I kept doing is recreating myself. You know what I'm saying? Like even my brother RIZZY is going through that right now, but it comes with maturity and age. I got a couple of years on RIZZY, so I reached that place probably about 3 or 4 years ago, where I wanted to use my real name.
I'm just not reaching it now.
You see what I'm saying? Where I wanted to use my real name. I wanted to own a crib. I wanted to own property. I wanted to own my music. You see what I'm saying? You have to go through shit to get to that space. But even what I was saying was about the recreation of yourself. About 10 years ago, when the music kind of slowed down for me and RIZZY, the clubs picked up. So our names and faces stayed relevant, even if the music wasn't how it was maybe 4 or 5 years before that. But because the names we had built in music, nightclubs were booking us to host on their microphones every night. You see what I'm saying? And as time goes on with that, you advance in that, and your hierarchy goes up in that, to where the point where it's only about 3 names in the city where you going to get a host for a party right now. And it's my brother, RIZZY, myself, and Reggie Brown. You get what I'm saying? And me and bro ain't on no radio station. I just started a podcast a couple months ago, but I ain't on no radio station. You know what I'm saying? And for us to be mentioned in the same breath as Reggie Brown shows you the groundwork that we laid to even be put in that same category, with us not having the same, things at hand like bro got. You know what I'm saying? He good at his job, but he also got a great job that makes people want to hire him. Right. Me and bro in the streets the rest of the week. You know what I'm saying? When we ate at the club. So it ain't like we had a V100 checking in every day. So to even be in that conversation shows you, you know, but that also helped us keep our name buzzing to where we can still drop music now to this day and people still be checking for it because it ain't like we coming out of the woodwork. Right. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's all about, to me, it's all about recreating yourself, rebranding, and keep pushing through. Don't let nothing stop you. You can't let, you know what I mean? You can't let shit stop you. It's almost like Giannis said, when he see a wall, he run through it. He don't run around the motherfucker. Yeah, that's what you got to do. Right. Eventually it'll fall down.
You know what I'm saying? You got a passion for it, man. I don't know how many times I probably quit 5 times today. But you know what I mean? Soon when I get in the car and start it up, whatever first thing play, I'm back on. You know what I'm saying?
Calling you back.
Like,
and the people want it.
Yeah.
You know, every time you want to quit, somebody you wouldn't even expect to walk up to you like, young nigga in the club, 21 years old, got his bottle in his hand, Cardi's on, feeling himself. You know what I'm saying? And he might walk up to me and be like, dog, that Swisher song you dropped, that's my shit, dog. And walk away. And that'll make me call Dooch and be like, hey, fam, I need some studio time, bro. I'm finna come drop tonight. Little shit like that. When you at the state where we are in the game, you know what I'm saying? Early in the game, I used to brush that kind of shit off. Like, yeah, whatever. But now where I'm at, I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
Plus it always come back around. I don't think we never, our sound matured, but I don't think it never changed. You know what I mean? We never went outside of...
True, bro, what I say, like, even with both of y'all, but, like, even how the Detroit rappers sound, like, they sound like...
RIZZY.
I said, RIZZY been doing that since he came out. That's his sound right there. And I've been saying that, like, every time I hear, like, man, my nigga RIZZY.
I mean, but they ain't gonna give it, I mean, it sounds... and that goes back to what I said about our market. Our city, how they look at the city.
Yeah.
These people will never know the capacity of how them songs go outside their city and influence other cities.
Yeah.
I can tell you a quick story. Hosting, the baby was coming. He on fire. Mm-hmm. The baby coming. So with the new young cats, when they come in, you know, they security a little different now these days. You know what I mean? So they kind of they don't want nobody on the stage with them. So I would leave before they come off the stage because I don't want nobody telling me. Some of them be disrespectful, some of them be cool. I ain't even finna go through it. I'm just gonna excuse myself out the way, let y'all do your thing. So one night he come, get out the way. Security calling me like, hey, they want RIZZY up here. So I'm like, man, what they want me for? I go up there and he like, man, you RIZZY? I'm like, yeah. He's like, dog, in Carolina, man, we came up bumping that. I'm jacking, man. And I fucked me up. Like, straight. And Carolina was one of my biggest markets. Like, I stayed every summer. I stayed down there doing Kakalaki, Raleigh, South Carolina, Charleston, going all through there. We was all through there. And that just let me know, like, dang, okay. So, like, even with the I'm Jacking son, that started a whole wave in the city that you think Detroit cats weren't listening to that?
No, they put.
I hear a lot of that jacking then turned to slapping and all of that. Yeah.
Well, for him though, when I stayed in Charlotte, they played Jacking before, and they played Ray Nitty.
Wow. Yeah.
They played that.
It's the same song.
More than once.
But it's the same.
I was like, dang, that's cold.
It's the same song.
Yeah.
Like if you ever get a chance to run into Nitty, if he gonna be honest with you, he gonna tell you. And I'm pretty sure he gonna be honest with you.
No, he been telling that story lately. I've seen a couple of interviews recently. You know I'm the media guy now, so I done seen a couple of interviews recently where he does tell that. When he tell the Bow story, you're a part of the Bow story.
Yeah, I'm Jacking was tearing shit up. Like, Billee wasn't finna have no choice but to ride with it. You know what I'm saying? And so I forgot how they got together, but Tony told Nitty, go holla at Real. That's Lil Cuz. Go holla at Real Beats. Man, this the cheat code. That's the tempo. That's the flow. If you listen to it, it's you know what I mean?
It's the same shit.
Cadences, all of that. But he changed it to the females.
So even when I think back to that time period, we had a sound. Like people always be trying to say
that was the sound.
We had a sound.
Real had the sound.
So even when it goes from you to East Side Ayo Boog and Jack It Down. That's still the sound.
It's the
I'm
sound.
Jacking is their version of his song.
I feel like even Kool-Aid
Yeah.
ahead of his time.
Yeah,
He was.
definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he gonna drop some Kool-Aid right now. Like,
bro, we was just talking about Beef the other day. Remember Baseball Bat? That was a big record.
Baseball
Beef,
Bat was
Ira,
baseball
shout out
record.
Ira, that's my nigga, but he wasn't no, like rapper or nothing, but we just had a sound here. Rail and them was making them beats where that shit was working here. You know what I'm saying? And nobody capitalized on it. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of been the pitfalls with our city as far as like artists and music and making it out of here, is that we'll have these entities, but we don't have a Kinky B or somebody to take that entity and take it out of here. You see what I'm saying?
Instead of taking it out of here, they'll take from it.
They'll take from it.
They just take the whole joint.
So now when I look at because now with me being in media, I have to watch the newer generation with the music better. And shout out Lakia Dene, who RIZZY was speaking of, that signed the quality control right now from here. Yeah, the internet helped her. She was doing viral freestyles and shit on Instagram. Somebody tagged P from Q, you know what I'm saying? The CEO or Coach K from QC in one of her posts. And if he bored or he got some free time, he might just click on it. And he see her shit, bam. And she had the numbers to match her shit too.
And she was ready.
She was
She
ready.
been grinding.
She been grinding. You see what I'm saying?
You got to be ready when that call comes.
So that's where I always look at the twinkle in my eye when Looney Baby video got 1 million views, or you know what I'm saying, the Maury Boys video got 1 million views, or Little Chicken's video got 1 million views. I feel proud of that, bro. Get what I'm saying? Because I know I'm part of the groundwork, just like bro, at laying it for it to get to where we're at right now, because it was a long crawl. Other places it didn't take that long because they got Kinky Bees, they got Kuda Loves, they got managers and shit like that can take them to Jay-Z and all that. We don't have that here. You see what I'm saying? So it took us 25 years to get to where YouTube is making the world recognize Milwaukee.
And
you see what I'm saying?
Let me add another thing on to that, Scales, because I think people need to realize we take a big hit. Like when we was coming up, you had Trouble Souls, Peekaboo Records, which was signed with Universal. Trouble Soul was gonna have distribution with
Eye to Eye. I mean, not Eye to Eye, but Infinite 4-5.
Infinite 4-5 was Tommy Boy. Before Tommy Boy was Suave House.
Tommy Boy was Suave House. Then also Strick was signed to Tommy Boy.
Okay, you got that. Young Twan, Suave House.
Young Twan, Suave House. Audie and Kali Tribe with King Kamazi and them were signed to Def Jam West through Def Jeff. Okay. I just found that out the other day. I didn't even know that. But I remember them having a major deal, but I didn't realize it was Def Jam West.
Yeah. Meal Ticket, Rap a Lot.
Rap a Lot.
G2
Key was Rap a Lot.
Okay, so you got all these entities.
So
right?
pre us, it was niggas with major shit going on. You see what I'm saying?
So you got that right. And this the infrastructure. Trouble Souls, my cousins. This is my brother and them, my cousins. These my daddy brother kids. I'm locked in right here. Porridge and them is they guys. Well,